Picture a disease that once infected 3.5 million people a year. Now picture this. There are no vaccines or medications. No injections, no pills. Nothing you can do or take to stop it or prevent it. That disease is real and it's called Guinea worm disease. And right now, we are on the verge of eradicating it from the planet. From 3.5 million cases a year at its peak down to only a few handful of infections reported in recent years. So here's a question for you. If there are no medications or vaccines, how do you beat it? The answer isn't in a lab. It's in a system that almost nobody talks about. The system that moves information. Because for Guinea worm disease, information isn't paperwork. Information is the treatment. I am Sogad Karki, and I got to work on this exact problem during my CDC Informatics Fellowship with the Carter Center. This is the story of how data became medicine. And I will walk you through a simple framework that you can use to actually see whether your information system is working for you or not. Let's start with the worm, because this is one of the strangest stories in medicine. You drink water from the pond. In it are tiny water fleas that carry Guinea worm larvae, completely invisible. A full year later, a meter-long worm starts emerging through a blister in your skin, slowly over weeks. It's as bad as it sounds. And here's what matters. There are no drugs to kill it, no vaccine to stop it. And the person in pain wants to cool that burning worm in the nearest water. And the instant they do, it releases its larvae and the whole cycle starts over. So the only way to stop Guinea worm is to stop that one moment. Find every case and keep that person or animal away from water until the worm is fully out and contained. That's called case containment. And it only works if you know and if you know fast. In Chad, the program pays a reward, around $100, for reporting a rumor of the disease. Every rumor has to be investigated by the staff, and they have to be investigated within 24 hours across both humans and animals. Now, if you multiply that across the country the size of Chad, you get an enormous constant river of information that someone has to capture, move, and act on. So when people ask what the treatment for Guinea worm disease is, in my opinion, the answer is data and a working information system. If data is wrong, late, or trapped in someone's notebook, a case gets missed, the worm enters the water, and the disease comes back again. Data isn't supporting the mission here. Data is the mission. But a working system is too vague to act on. What does working even mean? I will walk through some simple frameworks that help us identify redundancies, inefficiencies, and areas of improvement to make sure the information system works for you. Here's the first framework that we use, the information value cycle. IVC helps visualize the functional value created from within an information system. And in that process, it reveals information pathologies that can be diagnosed and treated. The IVC contains 6 iterative steps. Plan. Examine what you need to know. Where are the cases? Capture. Field staff record the information across 16 different forms. Manage. Store and clean. In Chad, that meant Excel files on personal laptops. Analyze. Turn it into a picture. Monthly reports, line lists, maps. Use. Act on it. Contain the case, treat the water. And evaluate. Step back and ask, is this system still serving its purpose? 2 things about the IVC. It's a loop. It's not a line. 2, it's iterative. You don't run it once. Every iteration shows you more information. And that last stage, evaluate, hold on to that. It's going to matter a lot. IVC tells you the stages. It doesn't tell you where to look inside each one. That's the second framework, DISC. The DISC framework recognizes the significance of different personal, organizational, and environmental contexts that contribute to the success of an information system. Every information system is really three things nested inside each other. At the center, the data. Around it, the information system, the technology, plus the people and process that move that data. And around all of it, the context, the organization, and the environment it lives in. This is the part that most people skip. They check the data, maybe they check the technology. They almost never check the context. And context is where things usually break. Now, watch what happens when you combine them. Lay the 6 stages of the cycle across the dimensions of DISC, and you get a grid, the contextual analysis matrix. The IVC DISC contextual analysis matrix reveals each concept identified in the IVC in the context of data, technology, people and process, organization, and environment. It is an evaluation model for assessing information systems, the value that they create, and their data flow. Suddenly, you're not asking the fuzzy question, does it work? You're asking a set of specific, answerable ones, cell by cell. Let's walk through a real row now. Let's examine capture. In the context of data, staff collect information about rumors, cases, and water. Through technology, that information is captured on paper and keyed into Excel later. From the context of people and process, there are field staff, data entry staff, and a manager, but no one has any shared workflow. And through context, there's a real lag between writing something down and anyone else ever seeing it. Just examining this one row, you can already feel the problem. That's the workflow. We obtain that information through interviews with staff in Atlanta and in the field in Chad. We also mapped every single form and workflow to document what the workflow looks like. The numbers were staggering. 16 separate paper forms. Entering just the animal rumor form took over 300 hours a month. The water treatment forms, hundreds more. And compiling everything into one monthly report took the team 336 hours. The data manager alone spent about 14 days a month just assembling it. And where did all that hard-won data live? Everywhere. Some on Carter Center computers, some on personal laptops, some on email, a little in the cloud. No single source of truth. Lose a laptop and the data is just gone. Worse, the same person's information got collected again and again because a rumor form and a case form asked for the same things. And on paper, they could never be linked. And remember that last stage, evaluate? In the matrix, that whole row was effectively empty. The program was capturing, managing, analyzing, using heroically, but the built-in habit of asking, is this system still serving its purpose? That wasn't there yet. But that's not failure. That's the single biggest opportunity. If data is the medicine, this is the treatment plan. And like any good treatment, you don't do everything all at once. We laid out 4 phases, each building on the last, each asking a little more of the organization. Phase 1 costs almost nothing. Agree on a shared workflow, keep a single data dictionary, store everything in one approved place. That alone buys you a single source of truth. Phase 2, move data entry onto a mobile tool. Drop-downs instead of blank lines, fewer errors, and that 336-hour report starts compiling itself. Phase 3, link records at the source. So a rumor and a case about the same animal finally connect in near real time. Phase 4. Plug it into the wider network, where the data can power dashboards, maps, even early warning models. And that can flow back to the field staff who need it the most. Did you notice what each phase is really doing? Better capture, real management, faster use, and finally, evaluation built in. The framework didn't just diagnose the problem, it literally wrote the prescription. In a disease with no treatment and no vaccine, you could argue that information is the sole treatment and prevention tool. The information system isn't just supporting medicine, it is the medicine. And here's why this matters, even if you never think about guinea worm disease again. Every health system runs on information. A hospital, a vaccine rollout, a cancer registry, a school clinic. The diseases change, the truth do not. If your information system doesn't work, neither does anything built on top of it. So ask your system the same question that we asked in chat. Is it actually working? And now you have the tools to check it. This is data.tech.doc. If this changed how you see the systems around you, the short series Breaking These Tools Down is linked below. I'm Sagat. Keep asking the questions.